上星期主日已經提到，以色列不斷為派遣地面部隊進入加沙而準備，包括空襲過萬目標、攻擊哈馬斯嘅據點及地道。現時戰事已經進到第二階段，以軍派出地面部隊進入加沙，搜救人質及打擊哈馬斯。
Israel Defense Forces have expanded military operations in the Gaza Strip. Eyewitnesses described tanks pushing towards the edge of Gaza City and firing on civilian cars. It marked the deepest Israeli advance in the Gaza Strip in years. Here's what we know so far about Israel's incursion into Gaza. Renewed fighting in Gaza erupted on October 7th, when gunmen from the militant group Hamas broke through a barrier into southern Israel and killed about 1,400 people and took more than 200 hostages, according to Israeli authorities. Israel responded with a siege on Hamas-controlled Gaza, cutting off electricity, water, and medical supplies, and blocking all border crossings into and out of the Strip. It then unleashed an aerial bombardment on the densely packed territory, the size of the city of Las Vegas, but with more than 3 times its population. Israel ordered the 1 million Palestinians living in North Gaza to evacuate south within 24 hours. But many are unable to leave, including patients and medical staff in hospitals. On October 27th, 3 weeks into Israel's bombing campaign, Gaza's internet and mobile services were cut. Israel then escalated its serial attacks. Some internet service was restored days later. In recent days, the IDF says it has struck about 600 targets. More than 8,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the war began, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Israeli leaders are refusing to call the military operation an invasion, referring to the ramped-up assault as the second phase of a long military campaign. Footage released from the IDF shows tanks in mostly rural areas, although verified footage from social media has captured troops closer to Gaza City. Israel's stated goals are to destroy Hamas and release the hostages. But how it intends to do so is tightly under wraps. What we do know is that the invasion will have to contend with Hamas's sprawling tunnel network, booby traps, and broken roadways from the aerial assault. The United States in 1997 designated Hamas as a terrorist organization. The Biden administration has supported Israel's assault on Gaza, but has warned against a full-scale invasion. Following Gaza's mobile and internet blackout, the Biden administration has pressed Israel to restore communication services, according to a senior U.S. official.
因應以色列派出地面部隊，使用飛彈轟炸，因此非議以色列嘅國家增加，甚至乎想直接攻擊以色列。例如，也門叛軍發射飛彈及出動無人機襲擊以色列，以色列則增加紅海嘅護衛艦作為應對。此外，土耳其與以色列關係破裂，玻利維亞指控以色列犯下戰爭罪及危害人類罪，宣布正式與以色列斷交。而中東國家巴林、約旦及南美嘅智利同哥倫比亞則召回駐意大使，譴責以色列空襲加沙，只會成為集體懲罰。此外，發聲明譴責以色列嘅國家包括阿根廷、墨西哥、秘魯、沙地阿拉伯、阿爾及利亞、伊朗、伊拉克、敘利亞、馬來西亞、科威特、卡塔爾、土耳其、印尼、古巴、委內瑞拉等等。中國外長王毅則譴責襲擊加沙難民營，表示以巴民眾生命同等重要。10月25日，聯合國安理會就以哈局勢舉行緊急會議，而美國譴責哈馬斯嘅動議則被中俄聯手否決。以色列代表於投票後表達不滿，指出佢哋有自衛嘅基本權利，甚至乎假如同類事件發生喺其他國家，呢啲政府將會採取更嚴厲嘅反擊。
I would like to begin by deeply thanking the United States and every other member of this Council that supported this resolution. Voting for a resolution that clearly condemns savage genocidal terrorists while standing up for member states' right to defend itself against terror shows that despite all of the libelous falsehoods spread in the UN's halls, there are still those who stand up for the values of freedom and security. I thank you for your moral clarity in such dark times. To those who voted against this resolution, I must say that your decision shocks me to my core. In Israel, we are fighting for our very survival. My elderly parents living in Ashkelon have spent the last 20 days running back and forth to their bomb shelters as rockets rain down on them, deliberately on them, on civilians. And you cannot condemn even these deliberate attacks on civilians perpetrated by terror organizations? If any of your countries endured a similar massacre, I am certain that you would act with much greater force than Israel. Much greater force. There would be no question in your minds that such a barbaric slaughter requires a broad military operation against the terrorists who committed such inhumane atrocities to eradicate their terrorist capabilities in order to make sure that such atrocities can never happen again. How would Moscow react if terrorist death squads wiped out entire neighborhoods in Moscow? How would Beijing respond if genocidal jihadists beheaded and murdered your babies? I will give you a moment to reflect on that thought. But I believe every person, not only here in this room, across the globe, whoever is watching this discussion, knows exactly how you would respond. So we don't need a moment to reflect. Should the Security Council not condemn the terrorists and their crimes against your innocent civilians, each of you would be just as shaken as I am. You would feel that there is a blatant double standard and that the international community is blind to your agony and that the Council isn't taking even the most basic steps that anyone with a slight moral compass should take. This is precisely how the state of Israel feels right now. Those who have voted against the US-led resolution have shown the world that this council is incapable of doing the most basic task of condemning ISIS-like terrorists and cannot confirm the right to self-defense of the victim of these heinous crimes. Israel has been attacked and continues to be attacked. This is a fact. In the south from Hamas and in the north from Hezbollah.
隨後10月27日，聯合國大會通過阿拉伯國家提出嘅議案，呼籲以色列同哈馬斯立即實行人道主義嘅休戰。美國及以色列投反對票，以色列代表更加表示呢個係聯合國同人類最黑暗嘅一日。
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is a day that will go down in infamy. We have all witnessed that the UN no longer holds even 1 ounce of legitimacy or relevance. This organization was founded in the wake of the Holocaust for the purpose of preventing atrocities. Yet, the spectacle we just saw proves beyond a doubt that the UN is committed, sadly, tragically, not to preventing but ensuring further atrocities. Israel just endured the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. And according to a majority of the so-called family of nations, Israel has no right to defend itself. Entire families and communities have been exterminated by genocidal Hamas jihadists whose sole goal is to annihilate the Jewish state. There is no reasoning with evil like this. There are no talks or discussions to be held. We saw exactly what they dream of doing to every Israeli and Jew. And we will not sit idly by to let them rearm and commit such atrocities again. We won't, just as every single other member state in this room wouldn't. Israel has the right to defend itself, and the realization of this right is to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. The only way to ensure this is the eradication of Hamas's terror capabilities. The only way. Yet this resolution does not even name Hamas. As if this war started on its own. Not once. Even when discussing our hostages, the drafters could not even bring themselves to name the Hamas terrorists responsible for this blatant war crime. Not even once. It is the duty of this body to call out murderous terrorists by name, not hide them behind empty words. Why are you defending murderers? Why are you defending terrorists that deliberately beheaded children and abducted babies? What is going on here? This must make each of you ask yourselves what the true aim was when this resolution was submitted. Was it to bring about a solution? Or was it to tie Israel's hands from defending itself? Distinguished representatives, Israel's goal is to eradicate Hamas's capabilities for the sole purpose of preventing future atrocities. We all know that if given the chance, Hamas and Hezbollah would commit the October 7th massacre again and again and again until there is not a single Israeli left to murder or a single citizen to terrorize and drive away from Israel. And the only way to destroy Hamas is to root them out of their tunnels and their subterranean city of terror. Hamas has embedded itself deep within and under the Gazan civilian population. It is all a front for Hamas. Every official statistic is the word of genocidal terrorists. For example, the fact that UN officials and some of you are still parroting Hamas's lies about what happened at the Al-Ahli hospital is a true disgrace. It was proven with absolute certainty that it was a Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket that hit the hospital parking lot, and that the number of casualties is far lower than Hamas's reports. Yet you continue to echo these lies. Shame on you! Shame on you! The truth holds zero importance in this body. Zero. Today, the majority of the international community has shown that it prefers to support the defense of Nazi terrorists rather than support the law-abiding state of Israel to defend its civilians. Anyone who is truly interested in preventing violence shouldn't vote for resolutions protecting terrorists. And whoever truly wants to prevent more violence should be calling on Hamas to lay down their arms, turn themselves in, and return all hostages. If this were to happen, the war would end immediately. This is a dark day for the UN and for mankind. Mr. President, Israel will continue to defend itself. We will defend our future, our very existence, by reading the words of Hamas's evil so that it can never threaten anyone else again. Israel will use every means at our disposal to accomplish this mission. Israel will do what must be done to eradicate Hamas's capabilities and bring the hostages home. And we will bring them home. Thank you, Mr. President.
從聯合國議案中，我哋可以分析出，於大多數政府眼中，佢哋會質疑點解以色列人嘅存在彷彿總係被優待，甚至乎係麻煩嘅製造者，令加沙出現人道危機同殺戮，破壞世界和平。所以，縱使哈馬斯嘅目標係殺掉所有以色列人，但既然哈馬斯藏於平民中，而平民又係無辜嘅，咁樣就應該任由哈馬斯繼續存在及作惡，以免各國人民因為以色列嘅問題不斷互相爭吵及示威。甚至乎中國最多人使用嘅地圖，如百度及高德，亦都已經唔再標示以色列嘅地名。於校對呢一段精華短片時，日華牧師分析，縱然有人認為以色列即使唔存在亦都冇關係，但係當以好撒瑪利亞人嘅概念去理解，我哋就會明白，其實所有人都係欠咗以色列，欠咗亞伯拉罕。以下係日華牧師於2023年11月3日嘅錄音補充。
啱啱呢個時候呢，可能弟兄姊妹你諗都冇諗過一樣嘢嘅，就係而家我哋喺呢個時候聽呢個新聞，同時我哋聽緊嘅災在呢，係教我哋點樣聽呢啲新聞啊！ 咁我哋同時聽緊嘅其實係我生日感言嚟噶嘛，9月頭噶嘛，但係錄到而家嘅時候係講緊全世界最好嘅撒瑪利亞人啊嘛。而家其實喺歷史上第一個神 ordain 嘅時代性最好嘅第一個嘅撒瑪利亞人，咪就係亞伯拉罕啦。就係由嗰個ordain之後咧，歷代歷世以嚟嘅人，凡祝福以色列嘅，為以色列嘅宮中求平安嘅，都會得祝福；咒詛佢嘅都會審判噶嘛。而家其實我哋根本再就講緊呢樣嘢，但係而家嘅新聞就睇見我哋 exactly 兩日講緊呢樣嘢嘅時候咧，新聞就睇到全世界開始針對佢，攻擊佢。咁我哋直情會喺呢段時間見證48小時審判啦，舉起重石頭啦，同埋攻打好嘅撒瑪利亞人。而家我哋睇見甚至係大陸嘅百度地圖係將以色列嘅名 remove 咗㗎嘛，喺地圖上，我哋會直情見證咧，全世界點玩死自己嘅，佢直情係玩死自己，因為到世界結束嘅時候啊，全人類啊都係欠咗以色列人，欠咗亞伯拉罕嘅，佢係信心之父。如果唔係佢啊，根本唔會打開條路讓主耶穌降生，人類唔會有救恩。所以任何人而家咁攻擊佢咧，正好而家我哋以災在嘅信息去吞翻正我哋嘅心情啊！我哋應該用咩眼光去睇呢啲新聞呢？個個都會有啲好理由就話，全世界都冇欠以色列，以色列都冇用嘅，我冇用。嗰啲人任何一個你能夠上到天堂嘅人都有用啊，包括以色列係唯一用途添啊！因為天下人間冇次日辨明得救，但係嗰個係主耶穌，嗰個係猶太人嚟嘅。所以而家我哋睇呢啲嘅新聞嘅時候，應該帶住一個乜嘢心情呢？即係諗都諗唔到啦。當日我錄嗰個生日感言，諗都諗唔到咧。而家就我哋照正就睇緊全世界去攻擊歷史上第一個神 ordain 喺嗰個時代嘅好撒瑪利亞人嘅時候。
現時以巴戰爭嘅走向正應驗早前嘅主日所預告，呢場戰爭勢必持續進行，並陸續將其他國家捲入其中。